get this NBA news out the way because I definitely we gotta talk about Baker Mayfield. We gotta talk about some of these off seasons. So it's crazy how the NFL off season was wild, and now the NBA off season is kind of the same. And it's funny that it happened like in the same year, right? It's like this NFL offseason is crazy because you got Russ getting traded, Devontae, Tyreek, right? In the NBA, you got Gobert, Christian Wood, KD, and Kyrie. So I mean, it's I don't know, man. I love it from a fan's perspective because it's awesome. I like drama. Who doesn't like drama? You know, it's like drama. It's like who doesn't like an action movie? That's what the all season is. Straight up action. But so like, okay. We're gonna start off with Kyrie Irving. He wants out of Brooklyn. He okay, so number one, he never said he wants to get traded. But you know, word on the street is he wants to get traded, and the only team he wants to connect to with LeBron. What is it? So do you first of all, do you think what are your overall thoughts about Kyrie? Craig, go ahead, Craig. Yeah, I know you want to say something. Go ahead, Craig.
Craig's not that.
I mean, as far as a basketball player on the court, he's a top 15 player, I think. He's just you can't trust Kyrie Irving to be available. They say the best ability is availability, and Kyrie Irving's availability is it's up in the air. You just don't know you never know what you're going to get with him. He said he wanted to stay in Boston, and he didn't. The same year he said that he left. Now he's saying he wants to stay in Brooklyn, or he said he wanted to stay in Brooklyn, and now they're trying to trade him or whatever the case may be. So I like Kyrie Irving as a basketball player. He's one of the most talented players I've ever seen. And he's got probably the best handles I've ever seen in the at least in the NBA. But I mean, as far as him like having to like count on somebody, you can't really count on Kyrie Irving to actually show up in a game. You can't actually count on him to just be there for your team. So I don't know what if he stays with Brooklyn or if he goes to the Lakers. Like either way, he's going to be a situation there. He's at home, like he's from New York, and he just doesn't want to show up. Now they had the mandate last year and everything like that, which cost them some games or whatever it is. But I mean, there's been times where he's just taking time off, like he did with the whole Capital thing. So you just never know what you're going to get with him. If he goes to LA, I would assume if Kevin Durant is his boy, and he didn't show up for games, why would he not do the same thing for LeBron, who had a relationship with, and then he just fell out with him? So, like, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't go out there and play 40 games, 50 games, and miss 30 some games or 40 some games because he's Kyrie Irving. So, I mean, it's hard. Like if I were Lakers, I don't know if I would make this trade. You're getting a great player, but man, you just never know what you're gonna get with this guy. So,
you rather them stick with Westbrook?
Kyrie Irving to me is a better player right now than Russell Westbrook is. Like he's a better shooter. Russell Westbrook does. I say this. Russell Westbrook is not as good as an offensive player as Kyrie Irving is. But Russell Westbrook's energy and his availability is better than Kyrie Irving's.
There we go.
So I mean, I think Kyrie's a better passer, not better passer, but a better. He doesn't turn the ball over like 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 he doesn't turn the ball over like Russ does. So he runs up, he gets you there.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not as good maybe they're kind of the same on defense. Maybe it might be a push there, but I mean I would probably take Russ there. But I mean it's gonna be tough, man. Trying to move him. I'm talking about move Russ. I mean, because his contract is so much. So I mean, but I mean, either way, if you get either one of these guys, you're getting like a salary dump for next season. So
yeah, both are good.
That's the positive part. Yeah, it's just one is $10 million more than the other. Kyrie's is $10 million less, I should say, than Russ. But I mean, both guys are like neither one guy couldn't have had a worse season coming into a contract season. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Mo. I know you itching. Go ahead, Mo.
Man, so let's I'm gonna keep it from a basketball standpoint. I ain't even going to personal, but from a basketball standpoint, Kyrie better than Russ at this point right now as far as what they bring to the table. But it'd be bad, it'd be wrong of me to say, of course, it makes the Lakers better. Do I put them as title contenders if they get Kyrie? Do I put them above certain teams? No. Like it puts them better, but it doesn't put them where LeBron wants to be at. Like it would be a great move. It'll make them better. It'd be exciting. But can we honestly say, and right now, can we honestly say if they got Kyrie right now, can we say they better than Golden State? No. Could we say they better than Phoenix? No. Could we say they better than? I honestly, unless I see a healthy for 82 games or a healthy for most of the season AD, I wouldn't even put them above Denver, and especially with the pieces they got coming back healthy. So it's a lot I would still question about them. But I can understand why they'll make that move. For the Nets, I would question it more. I understand you want to get rid of him, but it'd be a full message to your team that we don't want to win. We just want to get rid of Kyrie. Because if you're going to put Westbrook together with Ben Simmons, that's two ball dominant guards who can't shoot or can't shoot. Like that's just doesn't make sense to me. Like you want to sit there with two ball dominant guards playing together who can't shoot, who want the ball in their hand. Like that's just that to me just going to look horrible to me.
It'd probably be a three team trade.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. You know, Corey, what'd you think?
Like on the one hand, I don't know what team or GM, especially I don't know what GM would be willing to potentially put their job on the line, trusting Kyrie Irving after his last two stops. Like between the way things went in Boston and now Brooklyn, how could you trust that he's gonna show up and play and stay? But on the other hand, I feel like the Lakers are kind of in a desperation mode where it's a risk they have to take. They don't have too many other options. It's somebody that wants to be there. And I mean, they have to do something big to get the most out of, the end of LeBron. So problem is, I don't know what assets the Lakers have to make the trade happen. So it would definitely have to be a 3-team trade to get something else in, because if reports are accurate, the Nets are willing to hang on to both if their demands aren't met.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in the second part. My thoughts on that, because that's a very interesting thing. Okay, Kyrie Irving. And I did this on purpose. I listened to he was on I Am Athlete podcast. I listened to it. I wanted to hear from his perspective. Boston, he messed up. It was his fault. He apologized. He said he didn't know what it was trying to lead a young team and how much that puts on you. He said it's very difficult, and he wasn't willing to change his leadership style, right? So that happened. That's what Kyrie said. He admitted it, right? So then you got to understand that's what he thought. And he didn't tell LeBron. He was supposed to tell LeBron. He was in China, and then the media leaked it. He didn't get a chance to tell LeBron. They've mended their relationship recently, and they talk. The Nets. So the Nets. Okay, I I want to say this next thing very very interesting from my point of view. It's nobody's fault, but the Nets get some blame, and Kyrie does too. The Nets, because they gave Kevin Durant and Kyrie a little bit too much power. I'm all for player empowerment, but like, you know, we want this person, we want this person, we want this coach. Kenny Atkinson is a really good head coach, right? They wanted Steve Nash. Cool. Now Kyrie wants a long-term deal. You think that's too much? And I mean, look at this. Even during the season, when they were like the mandate, they were like, we're not letting Kyrie play in any games, you know, any home games. And then when they needed a playoff seeding, they did. So it's real funny to me. And you know, Kyrie, it is what you want, right? So I think some basketball players don't want to be involved in what the front office does because you're concentrating on too many different things, right? Sometimes you just got to focus on basketball. And that goes for anything. That goes for in life. You should focus on one area, all right? And I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about like think about it. A quarterback is just a quarterback. When you start getting involved in too many different things, only a certain amount of individuals can do that. Listen, some coaches like Bill Belichick, he can be GM and Andy Reid be GM, but some coaches like Sean McVay just coach. Kyle Shanahan just coaches because that's what they want to be focused on. Some NBA players just want to focus on the game of basketball. Now they make sure you set them up to win. Like Kevin Durant, we're gonna get to him later, but he just wants to play basketball. He's not involved in the front office, but Kyrie wanted to be involved in that. It's just too much going on. Now, as far as the Lakers, listen, he's a better fit than Russell, as in shooting, playmaking, age. Now Russell Westbrook has better intangibles. I think he's more right. The intangibles being that he might have the ability to listen more than Russ because he's been humbled more. Like he had a bad season, he might be willing to be able to try something different. But it's hard since he's been playing that way for like 14 years. But Kyrie, he fits perfectly. And then understandably, the Lakers have no cap space next year. I mean, not no cap space, but they have a ton of cap space. So they would be able to sign Kyrie long term, right? But I don't know. I mean, he fits perfect because he would be able to be himself. He's a 50, 40, 90 guy. He can listen, LeBron wants to take off. Kyrie would love to run point, and that's what Kyrie does, right? They need shooting, and that's what they're trying to do. But Russ is available. But the thing about Russ is, as a Lakers fan, is Russell Westbrook. Does he have the ability and the desire to change? He's been playing like this his whole career, and I don't know if he wants to play in LA. Think about it. If he goes to Charlotte, or if he goes to OKC, or if he goes to any small market team, you know, he was going to thrive because unfortunately, when you play with LeBron James, your team is under a microscope. And that's just because it's LeBron. But I don't know, man. I was excited. But you gotta understand that you know what you get. Kyrie could have a phenomenal year. He goes to the Lakers, AD comes back healthy. That's a big if. LeBron James plays 60 games. I mean, you can't ask him to do too much. He's doing a lot, you know, at his age. And then you ask him Kyrie. Now, the good thing about LA is I don't know if the crypto.com, I don't know if they have a vaccine mandate. I don't think you have to be vaccinated to play. So, where did Craig go? So, hold on. All right, there we go. There we go. Craig is back. Craig's back, but that's all I have, man. Kyrie fits perfect, but once again, you know, is Russell. Listen, we've seen this from Russell Westbrook. The same thing happened to Allen Iverson. The same thing happened to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, have you noticed Derrick Rose has transformed his whole game? He shoots the 3-point very well. His mid-range is very well because he's seen how he has to make the adjustments. To be that explosive for that long, it's all right. Russ been in the league 14 years, man. It's hard, man. You gotta think, even Kobe was 20 years. At year 16, you know, he kind of started, you know, his last couple of years, he got the Achilles, he had the leg. You know, it happens. You listen, it's very rare to get a Tom Brady and LeBron, man. That's I don't know if that's ever gonna happen again. Literally. I don't know. But it's hard for a player, Russ, using his athleticism and the ability that he does to drive to the basket, that might see some downside. It's just a natural thing. It happened to Allen Iverson. You know?
I feel like there's two examples in the NBA to look at as the either way Westbrook's career can go going forward. I think Allen Iverson is a great example of a guy that was unwilling to leave the starting lineup to the point that it cost him a career in the NBA. He had to go overseas to play. Mm-hmm. Whereas if he would have been willing to be a sixth man on a playoff contender and just run their second unit and be able to give them points off the bench, he could have gotten a ring with someone.
Yeah.
And I would say the flip side of that is look at Carmelo. He went to Portland, was willing to take that role coming off the bench, a smaller role, and it's extended his career.
Yeah.
And I think if Westbrook wants to play on a contender, he may have to look at accepting a role off the bench as a sixth man. And honestly, the way he plays, his high energy, that's the kind of guy you want. Someone that's going to be able to come in and with the second unit, at least, keep the pace, keep stuff moving. But I don't think he's not going to be a starter on a contender anymore.
That's hard to tell somebody, Corey, that averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons.
Other times undefeated.
Yeah, it is. What do you think, Craig? You don't think so? You think he's gonna?
I don't think Russell Westbrook is going to change at all. I think he's at the point where he's not going to change. He's just not. I don't think no coach out there can tell him. Basically, he had trouble from Frank Vogel. He didn't listen to Frank Vogel. He has LeBron James on his team, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
he's not listening to these guys. What makes you think he's going to change his game because Coach A says to change the game, or whoever he goes to next. If he whoever he goes to next, and unless it's Pop or unless it's Steve Kerr or Spoelstra, those are like the top 3 coaches I think in the league. Unless he goes to one of those 3 teams, it's not possible. I don't think it's going to happen because none of them need him. I mean, those are like the 3, maybe the Spurs, but I mean, those are like the 3 best coaches in the league, like the 3 most well-respected coaches. Yeah. He's not going to listen to if he's not going to listen to his teammates like LeBron James and Frank Vogel, who won a championship the year before.
Yeah,
he's not going to listen to anybody. He's not. He can't shoot. He doesn't seem like he doesn't want to even try to attempt making shots. I mean, at least he'll. I'm like Ben Simmons. At least he'll shoot. But I mean, he just doesn't. He can't shoot anymore. And eventually, like y'all said, his explosion to the hole is not going to be there anymore. Like Derrick Rose, I kind of see the same thing. He's still really early, but like John Morant,
he got to change the game, man.
Eventually, he's going to have to figure out a way to change his game. You saw Michael Jordan do it. You guys started going back to the basket. Kobe started doing back to the basket.
LeBron did too.
So a lot of these guys changed the game up, figuring out different ways to, once their body starts getting older and they can't explode it, and they can't do the same thing they used to do when they were 23 and now they're 33. Mm-hmm. So Russ is going to have to figure something out. It would be, if he could shoot, it would be easy for him. To me, it would be an easy adjustment for him because he could just spot up somewhere. But he can't do that anymore. Well, couldn't do that really at all. But
yeah, man.
I mean, he did shoot it better in OKC than he does now. But like all them clips I saw last year of him in LA, and he's just like hitting inside the backboard, air ball. I'm like, yo, there's no way.
And the Lakers, he's not better than Houston than he do now. He's not better than Houston than he did.
Lakers fans are unforgiving. I'm just gonna be. We are.
It's been downhill ever since he's left OKC. I mean, but the expectations were so much higher.
Yes.
Here and there in LA than it was in Washington, Houston, or OKC. Absolutely. So, and he said he doesn't. He something I'm going to paraphrase or something like that. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't remember what he said. It was something about he doesn't have expectations, or he doesn't.
Yeah,
like, expectations of him to win a championship or something like that. Whatever it is.
You can't say that in LA, man.
Like, yeah, that's one of the few places you can't. That in Boston,
you can't. No.
Probably even Golden State now too. Like
you can't say that in certain places because Golden State's another one. Like now, if you're a Golden State fan and you've been here since the beginning, now your expectation is, well, we're winners.
At this point, yeah.
You know, like you talking about, you don't have no expectation to win. What? No. First of all, as fans, we don't want to hear no player for our team say that, unless you know, like you're the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? Even Seahawks fans don't want to hear you say it.
I know Washington. I know we ain't about to win no Super Bowl. I know we ain't about to win no Super Bowl, but I want to hear when the players come out and be like, yeah, we're not gonna win no Super Bowl this year. What?
Come on, don't say it to the media like you look crazy. Like, come on, man. You gotta have some decorum. You know what this is. You've been playing NBA basketball for 14 years. You know how to handle the media. You're in LA, you say that. You're gonna get ripped. If you say that in New York, you're going to get ripped, even though the Knicks haven't won in so long.
It's the market, man. It's the
market, right? But even Golden State's a smaller market. You can't say that in Indy.
Well, they've also been winning championships too, so I can understand.
You can't say that in Indy. You're going to get ripped. Some teams you want to win, like Denver. You can't go. Denver's a small market, but their expectation, same with Baltimore. You can't say that. Like you shouldn't say that. That's just the attitude reflects leadership.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, man. So okay. All right. Kevin Durant. He wants out. First of all, is anybody surprised that he wants to trade?
I am.
I am too. Came out of nowhere.
I am.
As soon as Kyrie opted in, it's like he just the next day or a couple days later.
It was the next day.
I don't understand. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it.
Let me say something. The writing, anything he could complain about. To me, maybe somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Everything he complained about that franchise, that writing was on the wall. That writing didn't just happen out of nowhere. Like we knew about Kyrie's character and who Kyrie really was before everything went down. You sat there and you hired a coach with no head coaching experience who wasn't known for playing defense. Defense has always been your issue. I never had an issue scoring. Our issue has always been defense. And yet and still, you can't tell me Kyrie wasn't asked about that hire of Steve Nash. No respect to Steve Nash, but some of y'all same issues are showing up, even worse. So it's like, where do we go from here? Like anything KD can complain about, it was like the things was already bad when you got there. It wasn't like things just got bad out of nowhere.
You asked for all of this.
Yeah, you asked for this. You knew what this looked like before you got here. It's not like you could say, "Oh, I got here and I was lied to. Things got bad out of nowhere." No, this franchise was already looking crazy before you got here.
Now you wonder why Harden wanted out.
Hey.
Maybe it's making more sense now. Like, I got to get to a GM that at least you can say what you want about Daryl Morey, but at least
looks confident.
They let a coach. They let the GM do their job. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, man, listen, even in it doesn't matter what field you're in, sometimes it's really good to focus on one thing, one area. I don't know, man. I think it's only a certain amount of individuals can, have have success in all different areas, and you're still going to be lacking in one area. It's going to be one area you don't pay attention to because there's no such thing as balance in life. Yeah, you can't. You know what I'm saying?
So, hey, so I got a question for y'all, and I know this statement. We know the phrase of "if it was a fifth, we all be drunk." But if let's just say KD go to Phoenix, if the Clippers are healthy, and if certain things go, where would we put Phoenix in the West? Because you got to think about it. In order to do that, you want to give up Ayton. So you're sitting there with an aging Chris Paul who's diminishing his game. He got exposed in the playoffs. He got exposed by Dallas. Yes, you still got Booker. You still got Bridges. Where do you put Phoenix? Where would we put Phoenix if they trade for Kevin Durant?
First of all, they're not gonna have Bridges, and
right.
I don't listen. Rudy Gobert is the Kirk Cousins. It messed up the whole market. Okay, it messed up the whole market. Rudy Gobert could go for 5 draft picks and 4 players, whatever.
It was terrible.
Insane.
Kevin Durant is gonna go ridiculous.
Hey, listen.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Listen. I think they added Patrick Beverley to that trade because Patrick Beverley wasn't going to be down for how they was about to play now. When you add now, they talking about they're going to let Big Cat be Big Cat. That means Big Cat about to be sitting out there on the 3-point line shooting 7 threes a game, 6 threes a game, think he can shoot. Patrick Beverley wasn't going to allow that to go down.
They're going to lose the playoffs. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
All right, man. You know what?
Go ahead.
Kevin Durant, man, like he really disappointed me, man. You know what? When you said earlier, like who do you blame and all this stuff, I put some of the blame on Kevin Durant.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but even before that, him leaving Golden State, I blame him for leaving Golden State. I didn't want him to go to Golden State. I thought it was a weak move, but I said, well, since you're there, your contract's coming up, whatever it is, just stay there.
Could you imagine if he stayed there? They probably might have won 2 more.
Well, he wouldn't have played in 2020 for that bubble championship.
He wouldn't have, but 2021, they wouldn't have been. They were a not a bubble team.
They were a playing team.
They were a playing team. They're not a.
They also didn't have Clay, so I mean, it would have been Dre, Steph, and KD for the most part. But I mean,
it would have been very good.
But yeah, with KD and Steph, yeah. But even still, the whole point, like, if he doesn't leave there, he's not dealing with this Kyrie thing. But you also have to know Kyrie's character. Like, you don't know, you're friends with Kyrie, but you don't know how he is and how finicky he is or whatever can be. That's kind of weird to me. But
they could win 4 championships if he was in Golden State. They might have won.
I understand why he left, because he was getting ridiculed and he wanted to do it on his own. So I don't really, I kind of say, okay, this is your fault a little bit. I don't put the whole thing on him or most of it on him. It's Kyrie first, then it's the team, and then it's Kevin Durant. Like,
I got you.
But
I believe that.
I'm like, how do you not know what's going to happen here once you leave, because now you're going to get looked at again. And he keeps running away from a challenge. Like he's trying to go start something else, and he's not finished here. He didn't play 2020. 2021 he came back and he was there. He didn't play 2020. 2021 he played and he got a toenail on the line that cost him the series or whatever it is. Plus he lost Kyrie. He had Harden out there with a busted up hamstring. And then this year they get swept. So they were 7-9 in the finals. Or in the finals, 7-9 in the playoffs in the last 2 years. That's horrible. So I don't know. He doesn't seem like he wants a challenge. Like he wants the easy way out. And now his top two teams reportedly were the Heat, #1 seed in the East, the Suns, #1 seed in the West. Like I like KD and all, man, but like he doesn't want to finish what he started here. He did the same thing when he was at OKC. Went from that team. I know Steph and Dre and Clay, they came to him and they said, come to us or whatever it is. They flew out to where he was in Long Island or something like that. Basically got him to join the Warriors and all that. But now it's like, okay, you blow a 3-1 lead and then you go join the team who went to the finals. This is now just kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to stay here and finish this mission either. I want to just be out and go do, like they could easily run it back and be like, okay, now we got a healthy Kyrie and there's no mandate or shouldn't be a mandate. I would assume there's a healthy Kevin Durant and now you got Ben Simmons. You don't know what you're going to get from him, but at least he's going to be there to play defense and he can handle the ball or whatever. He can play center if he wanted to. He's 6'10", 240. So
he definitely makes you way better defensively than what you were last year.
Right. And at least, and they went out and for some reason they got they gave a first round pick for Royce O'Neal from the Jazz. I don't know why, but I mean, like, he's a solid man in the middle, a good paint defender. So you got that. And then, I mean, so why not just try to run it back with this same unit? If it doesn't work out this year, it'll be Kyrie's last year. And Kevin Durant, he's under contract. That's another thing. Like, you don't have to trade him. He's under contract. Same thing with Kyrie Irving. He's under contract. But either way, like, you don't have to get rid of these guys. Just run it back. If it doesn't work out, then you're like, you know what? Kyrie will be a free agent. He can go wherever he wants. Kevin Durant's still under contract, but he can get traded. Whatever, you can get pieces back for him next year. Because certain players you can't even trade to that team, like Bam Adebayo or Devin Booker, because Ben Simmons is on the team. So I mean, you're limited there if you want to try to get a big known better player for that squad.
Yeah.
So you're kind
that's that rule, isn't it? That, you can't have
a rookie something.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
if a player signs his max extension, the first one, you can't have two of them playing on the same team.
So
that's why they can't trade for Devin Booker. Unless they trade Ben Simmons, I think
it's like 10 players on that list.
I think they can't. No, I think they can't have 8. They can't have 8 on that team. They had to do a team.
I mean, unless you trade Simmons, but I mean, like,
yeah,
KD, man, it's just like you got to finish this job first, at least run it back one time.
Yeah,
and then
1 year where everybody.
Man, like, you're just gonna go from another team to, and then when he goes to another team, it's not gonna be, unless he goes to a team like, I don't know, New Orleans maybe, or like Orlando. That'll be your team. If you go to Phoenix, nobody's gonna take you seriously because you went to the #1 seed.
No. Same thing. You're right about that. Nick Wright said something, which is listen, he said some wild things, but I do agree with this. He said the Pelicans have the draft picks, right? They could trade Brandon Ingram, and they could trade like Larry Nance, and they could trade 5 first-round picks, and then you get an all-star in Brandon Ingram, right? And so you would have Zion, CJ, and KD.
All right, on paper,
you could.
On paper look good. I get it.
It does look good on paper, but I don't know if KD wants to go there. I need to see Zion play
at least 70 games. I need to see Zion play at least 70 games before I even take any stock or be like, oh wow.
Zion isn't there. You know, it's a good trade. It's a win-win for both.
A couple years ago, he played like 62 games. So he played a lot of games, not this year, but last year. So
and I can only imagine he would be excited if KD came.
And I would assume he's going to be healthy and he's going to be in shape and ready to play. So. And plus, he just signed that contract extension, which was, I mean, he needed to sign that because he's not.
Needed to.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, how about that? Hey, listen.
I heard it's kind of like Joel Embiid's contract where it's incentive based. So just like how Joel Embiid had a lot of injury problems too early on, and I think they said that if he, plays, he'll be good to go. He just has to play.
You know what I saw? I think it was Lil Wayne tweeted it out or sent it to Skip or something like that. What's his name? The boxer back in the day, Roberto Durant. And he kept saying no mas or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, it was Sugar Ray.
That's what they're calling Kevin Durant now. Kevin Durant. Because he's like, I don't want to play no more. It's no mas. I don't want no more. He wants to get out. So now he's just running again. Like I don't know where I can't take Kevin Durant seriously anymore. I thought he was the best player in the league. I can't even.
You can't take him seriously no more.
I can't because he just doesn't seem like he wants the challenge. He wants the easy way out. He wants the easy ring. He did it already with Golden State. He saw Steph get a ring, another ring without him, and now he's just like, okay, you know what? Kyrie is just unreliable, I guess, or whatever it is, and like I want the easy way out. I want another ring because everybody's saying Steph is better than me. He's higher on the list. He's top 10. I'm not even in the top 10, I guess. I mean, so I'm assuming that's kind of might be what he's. I don't know. That's what he's thinking or what, but that's kind of what I assume he's thinking, or part of it anyway. And he's like, I can't rely on Kyrie. I got Ben Simmons, who he's trash. He saw that.
I don't understand why I would have tried to give it 1 year.
That's what I'm saying. I would at least try to run it back. And if it doesn't work out,
a good team
anymore. Kyrie can go wherever he wants to and get signed by whoever.
Yeah, Kyrie's on a 1 year deal.
And KD still got.
I would try it if I was KD.
I mean, I don't understand why you go there and then you just don't try at least 1 more year right at this point. I think if he goes to teams like Phoenix or Miami and wins a title, I can't give him credit for it. I mean, I'll count it as a third title, but he's come on, man. It's like the Golden State.
So this definitely affects his legacy.
It's like the LeBron ones to me. The LeBron ones to me are the two he got in Miami are,
Yeah, because he left. But you gotta give credit to LeBron.
Do I?
LeBron, after he went back to Cleveland, he did leave Cleveland. And he's never requested a trade.
He got that stimulus package. But yeah, LeBron did never he did. But LeBron has
you said what? LeBron has never requested a trade.
LeBron has always played out his contract too.
Yes, always.
Like he's still on the contract and wants to leave.
Yeah, like he'll do what he's doing to LA. He'll say, if you're not trying to win, I'm not gonna sign an extension. So if Kevin Durant knew he was going to be in this position, why sign a 4-year deal? It looks crazy. If Kevin Durant was like, all right, I'm going to sign a 1-and-1, nobody is surprised. But you just signed a 4-year extension and now you want out. It just, unfortunately, it just looks like he's
like to me, it looks like he's scared.
Looks like he lacks leadership. Like
he does. He's not a leader.
It's hard to do what LeBron does. It's hard to do what Steph does. It's hard to do what you could say Joel Embiid does in Philly. You could say, I would say, who else? Jimmy Butler in Miami. It's hard to be a leader of a team. Kobe's done it. Shaq has done it. Jordan has done it.
I mean,
it's hard. It's very difficult to be a leader, and especially in sports, especially in football, basketball. It's hard. People want that. Just like, oh yeah, I want fame, and then you want to be, you want to be famous. You want to be.
I get it. I mean, I get it. But when you ask for what you've gotten, like when you've asked for what you got, it's not like your hand's been forced. When you ask for what you've gotten and what you've been given, it's like step up now. It's like it ain't like his hand was forced with Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like his hand was forced.
He should have requested a trade. That's one thing that I have to give LeBron respect for. LeBron's never signed a 4-year and said, I want a trade. He's never requested a trade. He just signed. He just waits his contract out. He plays contract out. I get that. But he came back to Cleveland and won a championship. Then he won a championship. People don't count the bubble, but he won it, right?
I'm sorry. Championship me, but that's
same with me, right? But here's the thing, though. He's never requested a trade. He's played his contract out. Now he might sign a one-on-one. That's fair. Like, hey, I'm gonna sign a 1-year deal. If I don't like where we're at, I'm
gonna sign somewhere else.
That's that's fair. But like, I just signing a 4-year contract and then wanting a trade, I don't know. Maybe the front office isn't. It's just this is just gonna be his legacy. But the
sad thing is, though,
this is gonna be a part of Kevin Durant's legacy. And I love KD. I'm from PG County, New Carrollton, Maryland. I love Kevin Durant, but this is just gonna be. I gotta be honest. This is just gonna be a part of his legacy, and he knows it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're both on the Nets next year.
Yeah, let's get into that. Do you think
they don't have to trade him?
Do you think that they don't? They could go really hard, but the problem is, you might as well cancel next year. If you bring KD and Kyrie back, you know how players are when they don't want to be there. Especially in the NBA.
What, man?
You know this, Greg. You know this.
NBA, to me, it's just gotten out of control with these stars, man. If you're a star, you can do pretty much whatever you want to do. Like, I'm all for, like you said, player empowerment and all that stuff, man. But like,
if they bring them back, you know what's gonna happen.
These guys are getting out of control, man. It's getting out of control. You can pretty much dictate wherever you want to get traded to. Just come out and say you want to be traded. You don't hear about this stuff in the NFL for the most part. Like, not like this. Not like it is in the NBA. And I know the NBA, like you see players' faces more. They're all like they're more marketable for the most part. At least some of the bigger stars. But man,
the NFL is
NFL's more like a
players.
team.
They is behind closed doors. They go to ownership. Yeah.
You don't see it like this, man.
Nah, like
Russell Wilson wanted to get traded out. He wanted to go to Brooklyn or Philly or whatever it is.
Yeah,
he got traded to Brooklyn.
They said Russell Wilson wanted to go to Denver a year ago, and he came to the front office. You know what I'm saying? Like it's discussions. They knew Tom Brady wasn't going to come back.
And that's a whole.
You know what I'm saying? They know it. That's a handled a different way in the NFL.
I mean, we can get to that discussion. That's a whole nother argument for us. If he doesn't at least make the playoffs, we can get into that later. About his legacy.
But I just think that it is different in the NFL. It is like Devontae Adams. It's just we're not going to see it. We expected Devontae Adams to sign a franchise tag, and then we go, bam, he gets traded to the Raiders. Same with, I think, I don't know, NFL players, NBA players got more power, I think.
I think the NFL, some of the NFL players
I just think
that's like NBA players. I think they see what Kevin Durant does or James Harden does, some of the NFL players, and now it's kind of starting to trickle into NFL a little bit. But it's not like the NBA. Like
no. Do you think San Francisco's trading Debo? No.
It's ridiculous.
The NFL has a lot more leverage over its players. The non-guaranteed contracts. The CBA has it written in where teams are forced to levy some pretty hefty fines if you hold out in training camp. And they have the franchise tag. So even when your contract's up and you want to leave, a team can keep you for 2-3 years longer than that.
Yep. Cousins.
Yep. That's the thing. NFL has leverage, and they have even more leverage when the CBA comes up. This is going to be interesting when the NBA CBA comes up. It's going to be very interesting.
Coming up soon.
I wonder how it's coming up very soon. I just wonder how, I wonder how the discussions are going to go.
I don't know. They need to figure it out. They need to figure something out. But I'm going to give it. As far as going back to the question, I give it like 60% chance that they come back next year. Both of them.
I'll agree with that.
I'll go 50.
I'll say
I'll go 50. I just know NBA players get what they want, man. For real, man.
Yeah. But I'm trying to figure out if like going back to that Gobert trade, which was one of the worst trades I think I've ever seen.
That was the worst trade. Don't say one of the worst.
It's definitely one of the worst I've ever
bad.
seen. I think and not just the NBA. I'm talking about sports.
Yeah.
When
say it.
So what is Kevin Durant like? If they can't get that same value back for KD, there's no way they're going to trade him. I wouldn't.
They're not.
I would just say, you know what, KD, you got to either come back or we're not going to pay you, or however the contract situation works with the CBA.
That's going to suck though, because what if Ben Simmons actually comes back healthy and wants to
Ben Simmons
leader, and then you have then you have a disgruntled Kevin Durant and a disgruntled Kyrie.
I mean, they're
That's
trying
not
to get
cool, man.
They're trying to get people. What are you supposed to do when they from what I read, they already offered Ayton, Cam Johnson, and Bridges for with some picks for Kevin Durant, and the Nets said no.
No, who wants Ayton?
That's three people. That's 3 stars. One possible all-star. You got 2 young.
Golden State got it.
Draft picks, and you're not taking that deal.
Golden State got it.
Huh?
Got what?
Golden State got it. They can trade.
That's the only team. That's the only team you can get to. No, because you got to trade Tatum and Brown. Basically, you can't just at this point. Who you going to trade? Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. That's not enough.
You can trade Jaylen Brown.
That's not enough.
You can trade Bragdon, who you just got. You can get a lot of. Jaylen Brown is a very qualified NBA player.
Who?
Jaylen Brown.
He's a top 5 NBA player.
I said a very qualified NBA player. Man. You gotta relax. You're just ready, man.
Top 5 LeBron, man.
Nah, man. I just think he's a qualified.
I'll go in full Boston homer there.
Yeah. Nah, man. I just think he's a qualified player. I think he could be an all-star. He could be, his potential. But
I mean, either way, you're not gonna get Kevin Durant value back. So I already know that. But I mean, you're not gonna.
That's impossible.
You got to try to come somewhere. That Rudy Gobert, man, you got to try to come somewhere decently close or something, because there's no way you can give up Kevin Durant for Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart or.
It'd be funny if the Warriors traded for him.
Well, Warriors have pieces, but I mean,
they have a lot. They could trade Kuminga, Poole, Wiggins, and Wiseman and draft picks for KD.
That's way too much, man.
Hey, let me ask you.
Hold on.
Would Durant want to go back to Golden State though?
What? That's the whole thing. I don't think he's opposed to it. That would be crazy.
He's not.
I don't think he's opposed to it.
That's a lot, man. Poole, Kuminga, Wiggins, and Wiseman, and man.
Oh, you give me Wiseman and Wiggins. If I'm giving you KD, you give me Wiseman and
yeah.
No, sir.
Let's say not Kuminga. Let's say Poole. Wiseman.
Probably do it.
And you give me
Wiggins and 5 draft picks. They might take that, man.
I do if you throw Poole.
And you could throw.
I would probably do it if I was.
If
I was Nets, I would do it because you get a lot of good players back.
That's a lot of good players. I feel like James Wiseman is going to be good. I just feel like when you're in the NBA and you're young and you get hurt a lot, I don't think players are finished growing. I think Wiseman's like 19. Give him a shot. I think he's going to be good. I think Poole, we already seen him. Let him start. And then you have Wiggins with Ben Simmons. You'll be all right. And you got draft picks. I think Kevin, it'd be just funny if Kevin Durant went back to Golden State.
I just want to see some competitive, like, if Kyrie goes to the Lakers, and
Kyrie goes to the Lakers,
Warriors,
Kevin Durant goes to the Warriors.
Like, what are we doing? We're doing this again. Spread it out.
You gonna go back. Yeah, like this.
That'll be funny, man. That'll be interesting. That'll be great.
But the only thing is, essentially, you have the same roster you had when they was together before. Like, because of what you wanted to give up, you pretty much gonna have almost the same kind of roster you had before. You had that big four, and then a bunch of role players.
What
You know what
for yeah.
Go say it. But you gotta spread it out though, man.
Clay's going. I'm telling you right now, Clay is gonna come back really good next year.
Oh yeah, Clay gonna be a bona fide all-star. Somebody all-star spot taken now. As soon as Clay come back, somebody all-star spot.
I just feel like it took him. He'll have his ceilings under him next year. Like I think he's not gonna be back to old Clay, but he's gonna be. He's played a full season and a finals, and don't have to worry about rehabbing. This is like his first good off season. He knows he's back in the routine of NBA season. And then you have Kevin Durant, you have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant.
Y'all think Wiggins gonna be all-star still? Y'all think Wiggins gonna stay?
And Klay Thompson. That's a tough four.
I think if you keep
that's a tough four, man.
The issue is if he stays in the West, you still got now you got Murray coming back, you got Kawhi coming back, Paul George, who wasn't an all-star last year, he missed so many games.
Clippers are deep.
Anthony Davis wasn't an all-star last year.
Yep. Got the Lakers coming back. Wait, who else? You might have missed somebody. You said Denver,
probably
Clippers, Lakers.
I just found the names, some of the bigger
Golden State, and Phoenix.
You gonna have if KD comes to the West, that's another player.
And Dallas.
Depends on where he goes.
Dallas.
Yeah, Minnesota gonna be a playoff team. I mean, I ain't saying they're gonna win the series, but Minnesota gonna be a playoff team.
They gonna be the 8th seed.
Minnesota?
God dang.
They're gonna be like the 6th, 7th seed or something.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they can't play Gobert in the playoffs. Let me stop.
No, you can't. You can't.
Jay, you being serious? Now, Jay, you ain't lying.
They traded other people to get a regular season Rudy Gobert.
I wouldn't even need the trade, man. Why don't you just build with what you have?
Man, they're gonna play a Memphis or a Golden State or a Denver that's gonna spread them out with Jokic down low. Let's see. They're gonna get a beauty. That thing gonna look ugly.
Rudy Gobert is trash.
They're gonna sweep them. But anyway, all right. So let's talk. Let's Rudy Gobert, right? That was a crazy trade. Worst trade in Craig's mind ever in all sports.
I said one of.
I was about to say it can't be the worst trade.
It wouldn't be bad if you said the worst. I don't think a lot of people would disagree with you.
I would have to look at some of the worst trades, but like Herschel Walker trade,
Herschel Walker trade was horrible. I mean, this is bad though.
Yeah, it is bad.
This is bad, man.
I don't know what Utah's doing.
I know what Utah's doing.
I'm at Minnesota.
Yeah, I know what Utah's doing. We can talk about exactly what Utah's doing.
But who gonna come to Utah?
I gotta give him credit. But Utah, Danny Ainge is in Utah now, right? He's gonna blow it up.
But who gonna come to Utah?
He's gonna blow it up just like he blew up the Celtics. And then they got all those draft picks, and he got Tatum, and he got Brown, and he got Smart. He's gonna do the same thing in Utah. What? Don't be surprised if they trade Donovan Mitchell.
They should.
They should.
Don't be surprised. They're gonna blow it up. They're gonna blow it up. Which
I hope
makes
they trade him summer. I hope they want to let him go
knows
to
what he's doing
and get the All-Star break. Like that's wasting them. Like that's
they're gonna blow it up. He'll probably be Miami. I can see Miami.
But my thing is, how long do they give that young coach to build it though? Like he's the youngest coach in the league, but how long do you think they would give him?
Where in Utah?
Yeah, you remember they just hired
him
Boston
5 years.
I mean, a lot of people get 5 years. They don't stay there that long. I mean, how long they gonna give them? How long they gonna give them
5
to build?
years.
Yeah,
they know they're rebuilding. They're
Okay.
giving them 5 years. You're giving the youngest coach 5 years.
Remember when Utah had the best record in the league a couple years ago?
You said what?
Remember when Utah had the best record in the NBA a couple years ago?
They did. And now they're here. Think about it. He did the same with Brad Stevens. He hired a young coach for like 5 years. They had a young team, and he rebuilt through the draft. He's going to do the same in Utah. Shout out to Joy Taylor. I can't forget the guy's name, but he said, don't be surprised if Utah trades Donovan Mitchell and Danny.
I mean, you got to. I mean, you have to at this point. Like, look at what the roster
as well.
The roster there, it's him and who else?
He would fit. He would fit good in Miami, yo.
They use Michael Conley, yes.
He'll fit really
Oh,
good.
Mike Conley still there? Lord have mercy. It's been bad. I don't even know who's still there.
Yeah, he'll
well.
fit good. So, 2 trades that don't get talked about. I think Dejounte Murray to the Hawks was really surprising. But I like the trade. I think he fits perfect.
I mean, it's the Spurs doing what they do. I mean, but I think for Atlanta, it's going all in to say we're trying to show Trae Young we want to win. Like we're not satisfied with what happened. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he
you
fits them perfectly.
He does.
It's a perfect running mate. He's going to play
ball.
defense.
Triple double.
Trae Young lacks at. I'm not going to say he lacks at it. Listen, Trae Young's an NBA player. And I'm just saying that he's going to help on the defensive side. And he's a perfect ball handler. And I like the way his leadership style is. So I think he's going to fit really good in Atlanta. And then same with Christian Wood in Dallas. He fits. I think he fits perfect with Luka. Young, stretch, rebounds, can shoot the 3. It's not going to get in Luka's way.
They signed JaVale McGee too, didn't they?
Who, Dallas?
Yeah, I mean they got somebody else.
Dallas is JaVale McGee brings championship moxie and leadership. Craig, come on, man.
Listen, I'm not mad.
Championship teams. You gotta give him that. He brings better leadership. He brings better leadership.
Okay. Hey,
come on, man.
McGee gets it where he fits it. I ain't mad at him. He doesn't have to get him the money to get it where he fits it.
Bill McGee is Shaq in a full.
Come on, man. Don't do that to that, man.
He brings that championship pedigree.
Man, he won some championships, man. You got to give him that. He's a good veteran. He's a quality veteran, man.
Look, if you're
where he came from to where he is now,
you're the 10th man on the team. Do you still say that they won a championship?
Huh?
If they're the 10th man on a roster, do you still say that hey they won a championship? Or if they're the 10th man, if they're the 4th string cornerback.
I mean, if you play,
he's a good body, man.
I mean, don't you get a ring though?
That matters in the locker room, Craig.
All right, man. If you come out in the last like Iguodala, if you come out in the last like 10, 15 seconds of the game.
Craig, you gotta count.
Roster, but did you actually do anything?
Hold on.
You gotta count what goes in the locker room too.
Hey, Craig. Iguodala got to be the exception to the rule. Iguodala did enough for the league to be an exception to the rule on that one.
I mean, not this year, but yeah, I can dig it.
But
oh man,
yeah. So, okay, let's talk about. Greg, your team made a huge trade today, buddy.
Oh man, here we go. Here you go. Yes,
listen, I was listening to Bucky Brooks.
That's what I wanted to get to right here.
Some good points about Baker Mayfield. I don't know if you want to agree with him or not, but he was saying that he doesn't even think Baker's going to win the job. Okay. I was like, man.
Okay.
That's what he said. He said coming in July 6th, Bucky Brooks said it on Colin Cowherd. He said that he doesn't think. I'm serious. I'm not. This is not coming from me, man.
The only reason why he wouldn't win the job is either he's injured still or whatever, he's dealing with that, or he just hasn't got the playbook all together yet.
That's what he said. Said the playbook.
No.
I mean, he still has a month to
That's
change.
what Bucky Brooks said.
But I mean, if he can't figure it out between now or whenever he gets there and 9-11? Is that when the season starts? 9-11.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So
other than that, there's no way.
Listen, if
that's what Bucky Brooks said. He said that he doesn't think Baker could come in, learn the playbook, get familiar,
and I'll play the 2 people in front of him, and I'll play the 2 people in front of him. He needs to retire then. If you can't learn the playbook, I'll play Sam Darnold and a 3rd round pick out of Ole Miss. Come on, man, you need to retire.
I think it's good for Baker Mayfield. He's gone to the NFC. He gets a new scenery.
Absolutely.
They could go to the playoffs.
That's gonna be
but
tough.
if they don't go to the playoffs, man, I don't know if Okay, let's ask Craig. Let me ask Craig. Let me ask.
They're still the third best team in that division, though. I mean, I love Baker to death, but they're still the third best team in that division right now. Are they better than New Orleans right now? I mean, Craig, no disrespect. Are they better than New Orleans or Tampa right now? I mean, I'm just being honest.
Craig, Baker Mayfield just starting quarterback. Are you excited? What are your feelings and thoughts about the trade?
I mean, I like the trade because they didn't really have to give up too much for him to get there.
Yeah,
they didn't. I think that the whole issue back on draft day and up until today was money for the most part, from what I've been reading and listening to. And they wanted Cleveland to pay most of the salary, and Cleveland ended up paying like 10, 11 million of it, and Carolina's paying 4.5 million of it.
Something like
Yes,
that.
They're going to waive the rest of it. So I mean, from that perspective, and you're only giving up a 5th round, possibly 4th round, depending on whatever the conditions are. You're giving up a 4th or 5th round pick for him. Like, you didn't have to give up pretty much anything. They pretty much waited up until they couldn't really wait no more, I would assume. Try to get him into camp and get him on the field a little bit, learn the playbook, learn the players. So I mean, to me, the
motion detected at the front door camera.
So to me, the trade was good. Was a great trade to me. Especially when you look at who they have at quarterback already on the roster. Like, Sam Darnold's trash. Saw that last year. PJ Walker, I mean, whatever. Matt Corral's a rookie. So I would assume PJ Walker will be the odd man out. And they'll still try to groom Matt Corral, and then they'll try to figure out what they want to do with Sam Darnold, because nobody wants. I mean, he's just going to be a free agent after this year. So both of them are actually. But I mean, even if they don't go to the playoffs, but Baker Mayfield comes in and he's, I don't know, say 30 touchdowns, 12 picks, but like the defense is terrible or whatever, or CMC's out again or whatever, they got injuries, but they go, I don't know, 7-10, 8-9, but they don't make the playoffs. But he plays really well. I mean, who are your better options at that point? I don't know who's out there in free agency or whatever it is, but for next season,
nobody.
That's what I mean. So I mean, either you have to go into the draft, or you try to groom Corral, or maybe there's like somebody out there like Trubisky or somebody like that, or Mariota, that type of player who was a starter, then they went to the backup role, and then now their stock is high again, or whatever it is. But I think Baker's going to
Carson should be available next year.
Who? Carson
Wentz.
Oh yeah, he should.
Here we go with that talk, man.
Hey, Corey, don't start that. Corey, don't start that already.
He definitely. But I think Baker's going to be really, really determined this year to come into camp, and he knows this is last year as far as his contract goes. So he's going to want to come in and play and learn that playbook as soon as possible, get on the field, and go out there and just prove people wrong. Because I mean, I know I kind of doubt him. I did doubt him. I mean, he was coming off of a big injury last year, so he ran Odell out of town basically. He did. And now he has 2 decent receivers.
He ran Odell out of town. You wonder why Bobby? What did Bobby Anderson say? Say he don't. He said no.
Yeah, he said no, and now he came back and backtracked on that today.
He has to.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, I guess. But I don't have any playoff expectations for this team. I think he wants to get them out there as soon as possible because the first game of the season is against Cleveland. So it's a little get back game, even though it's in Carolina. But if anything, it should be interesting training camp for the Panthers. Interesting quarterback. Something that they haven't had no buzz around that city since probably 2016, the year after they lost in the Super Bowl. So
do you think that
maybe when they got CMC or something?
So do you think it's just Baker's last chance to start?
No, because I see what Mitchell Trubisky did. I see what Mariota did, and all these guys. It could just be your time to go do a backup role for like a year, and then you come back out. Your stock is now hot. People looking for another quarterback, and then boom.
If he plays good, like
if he plays well, you have to pay him. Which I'm not.
Or could you franchise tag? You could, I guess.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to them paying him 30 to 35 million because I mean that's what the market is. If he comes out and he plays well, exceptionally well.
If he comes out and plays well, and y'all go to the playoffs,
he plays well like he did a couple years ago, not this past year, but when he led the Browns to the playoffs, then I can understand, yeah, you're going to give him a contract extension, or not a contract, give him a new contract.
Yeah.
And he gets that 30 to 35, somewhere in that range, I would assume. I'm cool with that. Because, I mean, he bought out. But, I mean, if he comes out and he's Sam Darnold, or like he was last year, but he's healthy, but he's played like he did last year.
At this point, he has to be happy because your destiny is in your hands. Because if you come out and ball, but y'all lose, right? Like just like you said, if you go 7-10, but he has a great year, like he has a chance to test the market or get franchise tag. Like he's gonna have a little bit of leverage. Like if y'all say test the market, which I doubt, if y'all go 9-8, 8 or 9, or close 7-10, you're gonna be like, well, let's try it.
So,
let's try to run it back. But then Matt Rule might be gone, and it's gonna get funny. But he could play himself into somebody like I don't know, a team always needs a quarterback.
Hey, so Sam Darnold turned into a career backup now? I mean, with this going on,
probably.
I think he's going to be the same way.
Probably.
I think he's young enough where he can go and be a backup somewhere, and then possibly get at least one more shot.
Though
he did. I just think that if he was like 34, I'd be like, okay, yeah, he's not.
What is Darnold, 26?
He's like 25, 26, I think.
Yeah, I think both.
So he was really young coming out.
Yeah. He's still young enough. He might be younger than that.
Yeah, both of them the same draft, so
he's still young enough where I think.
Yeah, but Darnold was young because Baker spent like 4 or 5 years in college.
Yeah,
he started at Texas Tech, then went to Oklahoma.
He just turned 25.
Okay.
Last month.
So he has a.
But Darnold is on his second team. It went poorly. Like he would have to step in as a backup and play extremely well to get a chance like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He probably would have to. For him, he would have to do what Mitch Trubisky did. He's going to have to go somewhere like Kansas City, all for a year. Green
Bay for a while.
Green Bay for a year.
And learn from somebody like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or somebody like that.
And then as you see, Pittsburgh got Mitch Trubisky, but
I mean, yeah, they
drafted Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett be starting by week. Kenny Pickett be starting by week 8. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I think the Panthers are, playing with house money here. It's a no-lose situation for them.
Nope,
they're giving up. What was it? A conditional 5th-round pick in 2 years?
Yep. Based on how much they play too.
A former number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, the talent's
I didn't
there.
know it was 2 years.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Wow.
As Craig said, he plays well. You may have your quarterback of the future. I mean, I struggle to fault a guy for struggling some in Cleveland because that franchise has been a dumpster fire for 20 years now. He's the best quarterback that franchise has had since 1999.
Bernie Kosar.
Old Browns.
Yep.
Since the Browns came back into existence in 1999, Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback they've had.
That's crazy.
I mean, I get the market. Don't get me wrong. I get what the situation was, but this is the truest example of Cleveland just wanted to get rid of him. Like we're talking about, like we just said, we're talking about a number 1 overall pick that's been in the league less than 5 years, and you gave him up for a 5th-round conditional pick 2 years from now.
I think it goes back to what Corey was saying and how they handled it.
Right.
Because if they handled it a different way, then Baker would be starting. Because to be honest, it looks like Deshaun is doing a year.
Oh yeah, the league once a year. They already said it. They said the league once a year.
Yeah, they said the league once a year, and they might push over like a year and a half just so they can get a year, if that makes sense. They're trying to push. So instead of saying a year and then the arbitrator says, well, he could do 8 games. or 6 games. That's why they're trying to push over a year. So it looks like, all right, we'll give them 12 months. But this, I think it's not up to it's a third party. So, they're reviewing it now. But if they would have handled it correctly, Baker would play for a year and it would be a win-win. But because they did not handle it correctly, they had to get rid of Baker. Because if Baker says, I'm not playing, what do you do?
I don't think Baker was showing up. I think he would have been willing to take the
And he
fines,
gets 18.
and I don't think he was going to be quiet about it.
No.
Hey, let me.
And then the locker room doesn't really want him there, like, because you got Deshaun. They had to do this because of the way they carried it. They had to.
Yep.
Hey, let me not be disrespectful when I say this, and shout out to Cleveland defense. I respect their defense, their drafts, what they've done. If Deshaun Watson gets a year, if they win more than 6 games, Kevin Stefanski should get Coach of the Year.
Damn.
I'm being real honest. If he gets suspended for a year, and you talk about you throwing,
Well, it's good for Houston. Didn't they trade for first round picks?
Yeah, all right.
Didn't they trade for draft picks?
Yep.
Okay. Kobe Brissett, you're starting quarterback for a year in the AFC? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If they win more than 6 games, then he need to get Coach of the Year.
Yeah, no, they're not a playoff team with Jacoby under center for the full season.
So they didn't win 6 games. Nevertheless, playoff team. What?
He has to stay healthy.
I gotta look at their schedule, but it's gonna be trouble. I gotta look at their schedule, but it's gonna be a
Who's
problem.
their backup quarterback?
Dude used to be in Green Bay. What's his name? Hobbs or something like that.
Josh Dobbs signed there.
Josh
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
He's their
That's
number
it.
3 right now.
Come on, man.
But I would imagine if Deshaun gets suspended, I don't think they go into the season with Josh Dobbs as their backup.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I saw Bill Barnwell threw it out there. It
Better
makes
do it.
perfect sense. Go trade for Garoppolo,
Perfect sense.
give up a mid-round pick.
Yeah.
They've got the cap space to bring them in, and
They have to do it at this point. And
Browns
gotta
are a
think-
mess, man. You trade for a quarterback, trade your other quarterback, and now you're going to trade for another quarterback.
Yes.
Like the
Yes.
span of what's it been like? 2
Yes.
months, three
Yeah,
months.
it works out for. I think Jimmy started throwing already. This is why it works out for both.
Nah, he supposed to throw this week, something like that.
Okay. All
Throw
right.
this
I
week.
knew it was coming up. Either was this week or last week. Here's the good thing of why you do it if you're Jimmy. You have a great team, and if you go to the playoffs, you're going to get a bomb contract next year somewhere else. San Francisco, you get off Jimmy, and you get to see what you have in Trae Young. There's no locker room issue, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Does Jimmy got
Everybody
no-
wins.
Does Jimmy got no trade goals?
No. San Francisco said they want to trade him. He wants to be traded. Like he's cool. Cleveland. Let me tell you something. Cleveland has a really good roster.
The reason I'm saying it, they might try to do him dirty and be like, oh, go Seattle.
Nah,
Like, you ain't
I
gonna
don't
win.
think so. They're trying to trade him to wherever he wants to.
they've
go.
already said
he's
that
not going to go to
they would
Seattle.
work with him for a trade.
Yeah, they're going to work
Okay.
with him.
Okay.
Cleveland
Oh,
is a
good.
good place, though. Their roster is nice.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's a really good 1-year landing spot
Really
to
good.
play for a starting job next year.
I would, if I was Cleveland, I would do it because they do have the money. Because what they did with Deshaun was he's only getting paid $1 million this year because they knew he was going to get suspended. So they pushed it. So you got to think Deshaun gets suspended for a year. You trade for Jimmy, you're able to pay him. Jimmy balls out, go to playoffs. If Jimmy's hurt for 8 games, you still have Jacoby Brissett. It's a win-win. I would do it.
They ain't going to playoffs. But
Well, if they don't go to the playoffs, Jimmy at least has a great
He's put in a position where he could succeed,
Yeah, easy.
and it's
Got a quarterback
the only
friendly
option
system.
left for
Say it again.
Garoppolo at that point. It's the only option left for Garoppolo at that point because I don't think the Niners are shipping him off to Seattle, and there's no other starting jobs.
No, and it works out. He has a nice running game, offense-centric head coach, great defense. He could come in ball out. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs, but it would make so much sense for Cleveland and Jimmy Garoppolo and San Francisco. And yes, I wouldn't be mad at them if they did that, Craig. It makes total sense. They couldn't mend their relationship with Baker, but it's like, hey, it's like the same. Someone's trash is another one's treasure. And I'm not calling Jimmy Garoppolo's trash, but the meaning of that is just because you don't want it doesn't mean it's not valuable to somebody else. So that's what it is.
You get it?
That's what it is, man. It fits perfectly. And to be honest, okay, let me ask you this. Would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Baker Mayfield.
Can I ask for Carolina why? Because Baker will be healthier, or
I think he's a slightly better quarterback than I think Jimmy Garoppolo is overrated. I really do. Like he has a good record and all that stuff, but
his numbers are very interesting.
He's benefited from a really good defense in San Francisco for whatever last couple of years. Before that, he was in New England, and like he didn't really play that much, but he had obviously got the greatest coach of all time there. So I mean, he's learned from a great coach, sat behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Then he goes out to San Francisco, has a great defense. I mean, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland's been one of the worst run franchises in the NFL, probably since, like Corey said, since '99. I think they had one playoff appearance, which was a couple years ago. Maybe, or at least like the last 10 years or so. And you know what I'm saying, like he's kind of,
I think their only playoff.
But that's what happens when you're the number one.
When they beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you're gonna go to a bad situation. So I mean, you obviously gotta know that. So, but man, like he just hasn't had the opportunities that Garoppolo's had. But I just think Baker Mayfield was more talented. I think he has a better arm. I think he's more athletic. He doesn't get I ain't gonna say he doesn't get hurt as much, but it seems like every year Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt.
Yeah, but here's a difference that might matter. Leadership intangibles. Unfortunately, in the NFL, you don't have to have the strongest arm. But like Matt Ryan or Jimmy Garoppolo, if you go to a team, the teammates will gel around you just because of your personality, who you are, and what you do.
And that's perfectly fine.
And Baker might still have to prove that.
I'm saying, but it's just like LeBron's style of leadership versus Michael Jordan's style of leadership. Two different styles of leadership that command different things, but I mean, they both still kind of get. I mean, I know they're not. Obviously, these guys are not LeBron and Jordan. They haven't won a championship.
No, I got you.
But I mean, just as far as different leadership styles and how one guy's so aggressive and the other guy's more of like a passive guy.
Let's see if Baker can lead. We know Jimmy can lead. Let's see if Baker can.
So the one question I have about Baker, and I'm talking about, we just talking about this trade still. The one problem I would have is what hurts Baker right now, and no disrespect to these two men, what might hurt Baker is the head coach and the O coordinator. I don't know if they fit perfect for what Baker's going through right now to deal with him.
Well, don't worry about that. This is Matt Rule's last season.
That's right. And I'm thinking aren't you gonna get blown if y'all gonna start over again?
With the coach? No, I wouldn't. If you keep Baker Mayfield, get rid of the coach.
No, I'm just saying, what if the coach doesn't, I mean, I guess that conversation has to be had. Like,
I mean, who would you
gotta keep Baker?
You're the new coach coming in. Who's out there?
I'm just saying, you know how coaches want
their own guy. I get it, but I'm saying who would be out there for them to want to get at that point in time?
But see, that's my question though. For Baker's personality and what he's going through, is this really a good fit with that head coach and that O coordinator? We're talking about Matt Rule and Ben McAdoo. Is that really a good fit?
Well, Matt Rule better do what all he can do to make it work, because this is it for him. He has
Ben McAdoo.
Ben McAdoo.
Matt Rule. This is it for him. Like he knows he's on the hot seat. He knows he's got to produce. So he knows that he needed to make this trade. This is a win for Matt Rule. But in terms of the actual season and how it plays out on the field, you don't know. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I think I gave them like 5 wins. I probably give them maybe like 1 or 2 more wins now.
I hope so, but I see what Mo's saying. I see what Mo's saying. Like, Ben McAdoo and Matt Rule might not be the best mixture maker.
Right, when you bring it in.
Well, Matt Rule's not the best anyway.
That might not be the best mixture. I see what he's saying. That shit might blow up.
This don't look right. Like, well,
it could blow up, yeah.
Matt Rule
has 4 wins.
He got rid of Brady, and now he's bringing in McAdoo, who, I mean, I don't know if that's going to work. Like he said, I don't know.
You got 3 people who playing with house money. Like this is it. This is your auditions right here. So maybe they might all bob or something. I
think it's all gonna come together. I hope it doesn't. Like if it blows up, it's gonna be.
It's a 2-point.
And I hope that they would win and be competitive. That's my.
If Carolina defense is healthy, they're gonna be competitive. They're gonna be in games. I don't see Carolina.
But I see what you're saying. It could.
As long as the quarterback don't turn the ball over, I don't see Carolina getting blown out much because their defense is young and is elite. But I mean, it all comes down to quarterback play and Chris McCaffrey being healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to
get. The offensive line.
I don't know if you're going to get a. You might just get Christian McCaffrey for a solid 12 games.
I would take that compared to what he's done the last.
Maybe, yeah.
Fair enough.
Wasn't the hamstring, right?
It was an ankle. It was a hamstring. There was an ankle, right? And there was an ankle when he came back against New Orleans, right? Didn't he? That primetime game was New Orleans or was it Houston? He had that ankle. It was something like that.
Carolina don't get no prime time. They get that. They get that.
Thursday. Like the Commanders, bro.
They get the Thursday.
Yeah, like the Commanders, we only get one primetime game this year. We only get one game this year.
I'm not mad though. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. God dang.
I think the Bears got like at least 2.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Hey, Corey, y'all got 4, don't y'all? I got 3 or 4, don't y'all?
3 or 3?
They have 3. I think the Commanders
got 3. Now we got 1. Now we got 1. Maybe 2.
We have 2.
We got Monday night and a Thursday night. We got Monday night and a
Thursday night.
Yeah.
And a Thursday night, I think.
That's 2.
Yeah, we got. I think we got 2. I'm gonna look at the schedule. I think we got 2. Hold
on. Wait. And Craig, y'all said y'all got a third. Y'all no way. Y'all have,
everybody gets a Thursday night game.
Everybody gets a Thursday night. We can't count that, Mo. We get prime time is the. Hold on, Craig. Y'all playing London?
No. Hold on. Don't worry about it.
Nah, Carolina plays Atlanta. I don't know what week it is. That's a Thursday night game. That's the only one they got.
All right, Color Rush.
They don't do that no more.
They don't? I thought they did that. Maybe they're bringing it back.
I ain't seen nobody do Color Rush. I could be wrong.
Nobody did Color Rush?
India's 4.
All right, we got 2.
We got 4?
Okay. We got 2.
Yeah.
4 prime times.
Yeah, we got 2. We got the Bears. We got the Bears October 13th, and we got the Eagles November 14th. We only got 2. Yeah, we got 2.
That Bears game is going to be. I want to throw up.
I really want to see how Justin Fields plays, but we'll see.
He's going to be running for his life.
Bears fans. I talked to a Bear fan, and he swears that they're going to be. He thinks that they invested
what?
In an offensive line. They've cleared bad contracts. They're investing in Justin Fields.
Lord have mercy.
I
can't name one Bear receiver right now. That's sad. Like I'm a football fan.
Looney?
Oh, Looney. Okay.
So I mean, this is what he's saying. He's saying that they did the best that they could. So we'll see.
Okay, well, 4-13 it is, I guess. It is.
Listen,
we'll see. They say Justin Fields been locked in, so
he has. But shoot, what's around you? You win. Shoot, you might win 4 games. Lucky.
And NFL is matters who your team is. Oh, last thing I want to. Corey did bring this up. I did forget about you, and this has been very interesting. UCLA, in college football, UCLA and USC are joining the Big Ten.
Oh man, this about to be in the college football. Lord have mercy.
Sports, it's terrible.
I mean, yeah, It's
You
terrible.
said it's
I
bad?
one's
bad?
been the mecca. One's been the mecca of
bad?
basketball. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
The parity. You gotta look at it.
Yeah.
One's been dominant in basketball. One's been dominant in football. So your two cash cow sports. If you're the Pac-12, you're losing both of them. So now, if you're the Pac-12, you look at the Pac-12. You only really now got Utah and Oregon for football. You have nothing for basketball no more. You really only got Oregon and Utah for basketball. I mean, for football.
You have Arizona. That's
Arizona, maybe Arizona for basketball. That's
Arizona
it.
was good this past year.
Because I got a feeling I've listened to some podcasts about this. I read some articles. I got a feeling of why they did it.
No, I get why they did it, and so now I think the Pac-12 is trying to do something with media rights or something like that to try to match or try to create some buzz or try to help themselves. But it's like, what do you help yourself now? Like, this is bad.
It's bad for the ACC. It's bad for Pac. I don't know why you call yourself the Pac-12 anymore. You got 8 teams or something, or 10 teams. And
is it next year or is it 2024? I think it's not for another 2 years, right? It doesn't happen for another 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2024.
What
you
do
got
you
the
think?
Big 10 that's Big 14 or something. Change these names.
You definitely got to change it. I mean, you definitely got to change it. After 2 years, you got to change it like the Pac-8 or.
But I mean, now you got to go from UCLA to Rutgers, or USC to Rutgers, which is like the longest distance in that conference now. Like this should not. These realignments, man, or whatever is going on, like the teams moving around and changing, like it just sucks all the like at least the rivalries are gone for the most part. Like that's to me is a big thing for college. Like if Duke were to leave the ACC or Carolina were to leave the ACC and go wherever, like that would just take the Duke Carolina rivalry is gone at that point. And I mean, that's not college basketball to me, at least for that specific, like for the ACC anyway. Like if you grew up and you're, I don't know, if like when Texas left, Texas left the Big 12.
Yeah.
That rivalry with and where Texas A&M left first, but when that rivalry with Texas A&M is gone. Oklahoma State's gone. It's just like it just sucks all the rivalry that you grew up on. It's not there anymore. That tradition is gone.
I think one thing that I've not really seen talked about that I feel like should probably get some attention is what's the ACC going to do? Because they need to act now. Because right now they are a conference that is like in college football, it's Clemson and nothing else.
Yep.
SEC is probably going to come calling for Clemson. So you need to be reaching out, and I mean, my first call would be going to the Big 12, potentially try to get a merger or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, out of the other 3 Power 5 conferences, one of them's going to disappear.
One of them. We've been talking about this. It's unfortunately somebody said, is Notre Dame still independent?
Yeah. So apparently, the Big Ten told Oregon and I believe Washington that they were on hold with them because they were waiting for an answer from Notre Dame.
Yes, and I think that, I
think Notre Dame has to see the writing on the wall, and they can't afford to stay independent anymore.
Nope.
Because if they do, they're going to struggle to schedule.
Yep.
Because all these massive conferences are going to have so many conference games.
Yep.
Because right now what they do, they normally split it. They do the ACC and they normally do at least 2 to 3 Pac-12 teams. So they normally do half of the ACC, and they normally do what? USC. For the Pac-12, they normally always do USC and they do Stanford every year.
Yeah, but they also have long-standing rivalries with like Michigan State and Purdue,
Virginia Tech. Yeah. The ACC.
Well, they already played the basketball with the ACC.
Yeah.
So maybe, but see the Big Ten, the UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten but the Big Ten has been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen it, and
I mean, they're coast to coast now. After getting Maryland and Rutgers, you got UCLA and USC.
Yeah.
They've got the massive TV contract, and they've got Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
They've got the infrastructure in place to be very attractive.
Very attractive.
And then you get Nike money with Oregon joining after Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Then you got to think about this, right? Now USC's in the Big Ten. It's going to be crazy because when they go to the Big Ten, now you got USC and Michigan. Now you got USC and Ohio State. Those are going to pull
with
people
Lincoln Riley.
You said what?
With Lincoln Riley.
Yes, with Lincoln Riley. And you're going to pull. And who's in UCLA, Brian? Chip Kelly. So now
Chip
you're
Kelly.
going to.
No. You said
compete with SEC, man. SEC is.
I think USC UCLA was a response to Texas Oklahoma.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Like we got to, and I think it's good for. Okay, it sucks for the other conferences, but as schools, you got to be proactive because now you're seeing a shift. Like
I think that we can get closer to a playoff now because you're going to have so few conferences that the big schools are going to have to play each other.
They're going to have to, which is great for us to watch it.
I mean,
it's great. It's going to be like
you can't play everybody though, unless you have unless you increase the games of the regular season from 12 to 16 or something. Because you're at this point, the Big Ten has 14 teams, something like that. You're not going to be able to play everybody in that conference.
Yeah, but you could get USC, Ohio State every year, USC and Michigan, UCLA.
But you'll have.
I mean, you could.
Ohio State, those are big games, Craig.
You're guaranteed to have some of the bigger schools playing each other. And then the conference championship game, odds are the two best teams in that conference are going to be playing in that. I would imagine USC, UCLA are going to go on the opposite side of Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Where you have like Iowa and Wisconsin that have been dominating going to the conference championship game. So now you'll have USC and UCLA there. So potentially USC and either Ohio State or Michigan every year in the Big Ten title game.
That could be big. Look at you like, damn. Unfortunately, they had to make this move, man.
I'm just waiting to see what the ACC is going to do because I just don't want to see certain rivalries just go away. It's just
it's going to be.
Yeah. I'm more focused on college basketball mostly because obviously. But I mean, it's just like it's just it's I don't know, man. I would say it's unfortunate, but I mean, like some of these schools are just doing what they got to do. I guess to survive. I mean,
it's money.
The money there, and they're just taking advantage of it.
Hey, Craig, you know North Carolina everything. I mean, do you watch North Carolina football? Do you like watch games or like you just know they're gonna be trash and you like bum it?
I watch football. I watch football. I watch the lacrosse. Every now and then I watch soccer.
About Mitch Trubisky, I didn't even know about it.
I'm not even a big soccer or lacrosse fan, but if Carolina's on, especially in like the tournament, I watch it.
Got it.
So Craig, I don't know what the ACC gonna do.
I mean, as far as football goes, since football is kind of pretty much part, it's driving everything. It's bigger than basketball, college basketball. So, like Corey was saying, like the biggest team in there is Clemson. I mean, Florida State has that tradition. Miami has that same thing.
And Clemson,
Miami get back.
Is Clemson leaving or are they staying?
Right now, they're staying. As far as I know, they're staying. But I'm saying, like, if one team was to go at the way it's going, because Clemson is just hitting shoulders above everybody in the ACC.
Hey, didn't the best player in the ACC last year, the wide receiver, didn't he transferred to USC? Didn't he? The dude that was playing with Pickett, he won the
yeah.
Transferred.
Lincoln Riley, man. And some says I heard this. Shout out to Joe Clapp. He said this about Lincoln Riley. He said nothing wrong with Oklahoma, but when Oklahoma joined the SEC, right, the recruiting is because you're in a conference now with Alabama, Texas. Right, it's the SEC, Georgia. They're going to recruit their players, right? So Oklahoma, when you want those kids from Texas and Alabama or Georgia, it's going to be hard when Georgia's going to recruit over you. You know who Lincoln Riley has access to? it's a lot of prospects out of California that love USC. And now they're going to be able to get a chance to play on national TV more often.
Yep.
He's going to be able to recruit better. Because California kids aren't going to Georgia. They want to stay in California. So they're going to be able to recruit better. Can you only imagine him telling me, like, I play in the Big Ten. I coach in the Big Ten, right? Even though there's NIL deals, right? But he's going to tell California kids, we're on national TV 5-6 times a year.
And I'm known for
you know what I'm saying?
And especially from a skills player standpoint, I'm known for sending dudes in the NFL.
Yeah.
At a high rate. First round draft picks. Yeah. Like, man.
So I think he just saw, he kind of, and nothing against, like, Oklahoma and Texas, but the SEC is real, man. So I think he just saw his opportunity.
Yeah.
He saw it. It was like, okay, I can't compete recruits with LSU.
Hey,
I mean,